In a world where gaming is everything, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Extreme Gaming Podcast, episode 270, getting close to 300. It's March 4th when we're recording this. Of course, you'll be hearing it on Thursday, like always. And I want to introduce my compadres. I'm Great Gamer25, by the way. I could always be good if I say my name. Next up is either one of you guys.
Pointed down. It's hi, my name is Matt, also known as Irish Guardian, also on Twitch and other sites as well. Minus some of them, including OnlyFans, which there is no fans. So there you go.
And
I'm Tal, everyone. Hello. I'm not on any other sites. I'm just me. Oh, well, I suppose I am on my website, gamertech.org. Kind of forgot about that for a second.
Yeah.
Please do your quickie plug. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you guys. You're so kind. I don't want to do this every week though. I feel like I'm taking advantage or something, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway, gamertech.org.
That's it. You're taking advantage.
Yes, thanks. All right, that's it. I'm done. No, seriously though, if you're after a computer for gaming or content creation or for work or really just any kind of computer, we will build you anything. And I just wanted to add that there's a couple of things that we do that a lot of other providers don't. So one thing we do is that we allow you to keep your own GPU or bring your own GPU, as we call it. So you can either just build your PC, we'll send it to you, and you can put your GPU in yourself, or you can send us the GPU and we'll build your PC and put it in and test it, and everything's all great. Another thing that we do is that we can send you a PC kit, which is just a collection of all the components, and that would be massively cheaper than if we built it. So basically it would be like buying it all on Amazon or wherever other stores do exist, and we'll send it to you in one big box and you can build it yourself.
Nice. I'm just curious, if they do the kit and they build it themselves and they're having trouble setting it up, do you do like on the phone type support?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so all of our PCs, we do lifetime support. So even if we sell you just the collection of components, or a kit as we called it, we'll still support your PC, no problem at all. The only difference between buying a kit and buying a pre-build from us is that you only get the manufacturer warranty with the parts. If you buy a kit, you don't get the full fat 3 or 5 year Gamertech warranty that covers parts as well.
Got it. Cool. Okey-doke.
So yeah, loads of options.
We need a jingle as well.
Yeah, maybe you could write one for us, Matt. You're pretty musical.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
going to clip that and I'll just use that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, paperwork, as we say. You want to pick up on our Discord and join us there. It's discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. That's discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. If you join us over at the Discord, and we've had a few people join us in the last week or two, we do some gaming nights on Tuesdays. We also do the podcast as well. We talk about entertainment. We talk about hardware, computers, games, all kinds of stuff, and a general chat as well. And you can come on there and talk to all three of us here, and if you want, or other people too. We just got a whole bunch of new news in about games we just posted in the Discord that we're going to mess with and try in the coming weeks. So, come on over. If you want to submit any questions, whether they be about a game or about a computer or a problem, you can submit them at the Discord, or you can send us an email at info@extremegamingpodcast.com. That's info@extremegamingpodcast.com.
And if you've got any requests, Gray has told us off camera that if you want him to maybe wear a big hat or go topless, he's quite happy to do all of this stuff. So just put your requests in any of those places, and Gray will get it all done for you.
I might go with the hat, but I ain't going any other way. On the socials, YouTube is probably one of our biggest Extreme Gaming podcasts over there. Facebook, Extreme Gaming Podcast. TikTok, Extreme Gaming Podcast. And at X, Extreme Podcast, because somebody stole the gaming, but we're working on it. So there's been a bunch of stuff that's going on. We're going to kind of just dive into it. And we're going to start out with the AI Corner.
And now, the AI Corner.
So I haven't done the AI corner in a while, but it depends on what's going on out there lately, and if I see there's enough interesting stuff, I like to bring it up. And sometimes this can be about things that pertain to games, and sometimes not. In this particular instance, though, it does concern games, and there's been several different articles that have came out that I kind of put them all together, more or less, on this subject matter. One of them comes up that Microsoft CEO says that the Xbox will have a catalog of games using generative AI.
Oh, so, yay. Looking forward to that.
He's right up front with it, which is good. It's better than lying. And there is a lying factor I'm going to bring in a second, but not yet. And basically,
because there always is.
Yes, of course. But what he said is that he considers this being a massive moment. It's going to be called the AI itself, I guess, is going to be called Microsoft Muse, M-U-S-E. Get those M's in there, right? Is a generative AI model that can generate game visuals, controller actions, or both. Oh, okay. Microsoft showed how Muse could generate these particular things. Oh, that's cute. I was looking at my notes and they just disappeared and came back all by themselves. Okay. Anyway, this particular person, Nadella, I know I'm not saying this right, but Satya Nadella, he's Microsoft CEO. He said that when he looked at Muse and to see how it works and everything, he said he had a wow moment.
Wow, we're going to save so much money.
I mean, I know, exactly. Because I'm sitting there thinking like a wow moment. I mean, AI has been out for a while and it wows us every other week. Yeah. So you just learn about this? I hope not. Anyway, when he said when he saw this compared to ChatGPT, he's very impressed. Blah blah blah. He said he's already planning on utilizing it in multiple games. So this is going to be interesting because we talked about it before, where AI and gaming is going to put some people out of a job, but it's something that's inevitable. You're still going to need humans to program and stuff like that. So it's not like they'll lose all jobs, but some will be. The people out there, I think, are kind of split on how they think about this or how they would like this. And as usual, some people like, some people don't. Before I go on about it, what are your guys' opinions off the top of your head about this?
50-50. I mean, I like it for it to have something to deal with NPCs to make them a bit more interactive. Make the scenery, that's the word I was looking for. Scenery a bit more realistic, movements-wise. In that way, I kind of, I'd be up for it. But to come up with the game itself or ideas, then, that's just pretty much, that's where I, have my limits.
Line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
what do you think,
doubts.
Carl?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find myself every time we talk about AI, I'm also a little bit 50-50. I can see that there's some good applications, but I can also see that it's gonna, steamroll us into the total and utter enshittification of everything. Yeah. I saw a quote from, I think it was Sam Altman. Is that the guy, the OpenAI guy? I think that's his name. And he said something along the lines of, AI has not yet. We've not yet found a meaningful way to use AI to make money, and it's very cool in lots of different things. But I guess the companies are just desperately scrambling to find ways to use AI to make money, and we're going to see a lot of this. I think over the coming few years, there are going to be a lot of things that are delivered to us or put on storefronts or whatever, whether it be games, films, all sorts of media, that are going to be AI derived, even completely 100% AI. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, when we talk about making money, though, when they say things like, well, we want to make money, but we're not yet, I find that a little hard to believe, only because we had talked about this a week or two ago, and we were talking about how YouTube creators are now being replaced with AI, so that the AI influencer that you see on camera is actually not a real human. Okay, and when people do this kind of stuff, or they use AI to make a not video moving, not a moving image, it's more static. and there's already guys that are out there putting out models, girl models of their creation that are doing all kinds of stuff on TikTok, and they're making all kinds of money. So
yeah, I guess he's talking about the kind of money that is next level stuff, though, right? So the kind of money where they can invest in their AI, and they can say, right, make us a game, and then 5 minutes later, well, okay, not 5 minutes, but a week later, out pops this brand shiny new game that they can go and sell, for $80.
I guess it's just the broader term when he says about we're looking for ways to make money. I mean, come on, you're gonna make money with it. It's almost like in the pharmacy industry. When you come up with a new drug that you put a gazillion dollars into, you need to make it back. But eventually, once you make it back, it's all found money. So essentially,
I think there's going to be a bubble, though, Gray, don't you? I think there's going to be a big bursting of a bubble soon, like the .com bubble.
Yeah, with all this stuff, there's always that bubble. The only thing they can do is either, if they're smart, they'll try to police each other in keeping the bubble from ever bursting and just deflate it a little bit here and there or whatever. But if they don't and they just go, haphazardly about it, yeah, they're going to have an issue. Like anything else, everybody wants to get into AI and start making things of their own because they want to start being creative. And I get it. I mean, I can understand. Look, what tiny bit I did so far when I made a picture for some of the segment intros and stuff like that, where I basically did the prompting and I came out with the picture that I wanted. And one or two other times I've done that too. I mean, it's great, and it makes me feel like, I'm a pretty creative person. I always have been when I used to work in television and stuff like that. But so you always have that yearning to want to be creative, especially since I can't draw worth a crap. If I draw something, it's going to be stick figures all the way. So essentially, I could actually create something. So I don't want to take that away from people. If you want to be creative and you want to use these programs, and plenty of them are using them all over YouTube, some better than others. I mean, that's fine. So there's but like anything else, there's going to be a proliferation of this stuff. It already is starting now. And if we think it's a lot now, it's going to be a lot more. I mean, wait another year and see how much stuff is going on.
I mean, I think what I'm a bit worried about is the time that everything is AI. So let's say that some company brings out 10 games in a year and one of them is completely 100% AI. Yeah, we have the ability to not buy that game if we don't think it's very good. But what if all 10 of those games are made purely by AI and all of them are bad?
Well, then nobody's going to buy them and they'll lose money. The only thing is they'll lose less money than they would have if I guess they didn't use AI. I know it is really weird that we're even talking like this, but this is what's going on. I kind of agree with Matt in how he explained it. If you're going to use AI to do the tedious stuff, I think that's wonderful because that will shorten the period of when games are made. Yeah. Look, years ago, we never had to wait 4 years for a game to come out. We waited a year and a half, maybe 2 at the most, and a game was out. Now we're waiting 4 years, sometimes longer.
Sometimes way longer,
Yeah, exactly. Elder Scrolls 6. So in that sense, I think that's, like Matt said, 50-50. You definitely would use it for that. So if there's a background scene that's boring as hell and you can do it quickly in AI, that's going to make, the game look better, fine. If you need to do some other repetitive tasks that would take you hours and hours and AI can do it in a few minutes, I think that's wonderful. But then when you start getting to the real story, I would kind of rather have a real human involved in writing the story.
Creative things.
Right, and I don't want to replace voice actors with AI. I know that'll come someday,
but
too.
They will.
Oh, I know they will. In fact, I don't have the link here, but I just saw a video before I came on with you guys with a new language model, but that was made specifically to be more conversational with a human that's talking to it. I'm telling you right now, man, I could not believe what I was hearing. I mean, every time I come on this podcast and talk about AI, I keep telling you how I can't believe this, I can't believe that. And, the conversations that I've heard with other models have been, good, but not, you know what it is, right? This
I
was
don't often speak to models, so,
Yeah, well,
they normally run. Yeah.
Yeah, normally, if they come over your house, that's another
restraining
problem.
order.
Yeah, it sucks.
So later, I will send this link to you, you guys, and we're going to talk about this another time. But granted that the kind of conversation that you and I are all having right now, wow, man, this is like right on top of it, if not just below. I mean, really wild. And the guy was asking he was testing it by asking very difficult questions, like very deep questions. And then he pretended he was depressed. And then he would like not talk or just be silent to see what the bot would do. And it actually came on with an even more comforting voice to tell the person that they were there and they were waiting whenever they needed help. They understand the silence. I'm like, whoa, man, this is like, it's cool and it's creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
So no doubt you're going to be able to do that. I just think that I wouldn't want to see that. But I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. And this is in the coming, years or whatever, months anyway. It's going to kind of be like, how can I make it? All right, so I'll give you an example. Some of these really large stores, the big, I'm going to mention a name, but I'm not saying it in a bad way, like the big Walmarts or the big Costco's. And you guys have things like that over in the UK, these huge department stores that are mainly what they are, just big, huge, and they have everything, which is cool. I'm not knocking it. But there's also been a resurfacing of the mom and pop stores where all the mom and pop stores went out of business and basically just said,
Really?
the heck with it. Now there's been a resurgence of mom and pop stores. I'm not saying there's millions of them. All I'm saying is that people are actually looking for the mom and pop store now because they feel like it's more approachable or more comfortable, maybe.
People want that genuine connection.
Exactly. It doesn't mean that they don't shop at the big ones too. Of course they do, but they want their little. It's almost like your little local ice cream shop that you go to.
Yeah.
Or your little local French cafe
or
that you go to.
Coffee shop where the guy knows your order as you walk in the door.
Exactly. So since some of that's coming back, I almost can see this happening. It's going to go all the way to one side, and then you're going to have people that are producing games that are going to come out and say, "We don't use any generative AI or
AI free."
AI free, exactly. Or they'll say only 50% of AI was used in the production of this game. And I know it sounds goofy and funny, but I'm telling you, I think that's going to happen.
I genuinely think you're absolutely right here. It will.
And I have another story I'm going to cover that now I'm going to drift into another story and see what you guys think about this, because I thought this was what I just said is actually already starting to come to life, which is kind of interesting. And apparently the Steam database, they call SteamDB, now lets players filter out games that use generative AI. So we're already seeing this on Valve's part, and a lot of people have been actually praising Valve for this.
Praise Gaben.
Yeah. And essentially, you can go in and decide what you want to do. So apparently, it says it's a new filter. You have to. By the way, when they make games, they have to say AI content disclosed on a tag. So the tag has to be known to that. They said that currently the site lists more than 4,900 games currently on Steam which are using AI generated content.
Wow, already
4,900.
That's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I know. I was shocked when I saw that number. I was thinking it was going to be like 1,000 or 500.
Wow.
And I see 4,900. I'm going, holy moly.
Dude. Yeah.
So what's going to happen is, and you will see this, by the way, in the video podcast. Everybody, get the video podcast out there because you see all kinds of goodies that you don't see in the audio. So I will put up the content, what the content screen is going to look like, so you can see. But I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, at first, some people are going like, what do you need that for? But if you don't want it, then you can filter it, and then you won't see it.
It'll be amazing to see how many games I already have that I'll just go buy. Clicking on that just to see.
Well, they said right now, that Steam Database provides a list of the current Steam Next Fest demos that are going on now. They've been releasing lots of demos of games, which
they have, cool. Yeah.
All right, and I didn't even know this. There apparently is 2,186 demos out there. I'm going like, really? I've seen 4 or 5 of them. I'm going like, wow. And they said by applying the filter, this will remove 92 that have declared the use of generative AI. So what Valve is saying, or what Steam is saying to the people out there, to the creators out there, you need to tell us if you have a generative AI. You need to say it. And they also threatened them with that if they don't say it, that they might take more action against them. So they have to come forward and say it. And then
transparency, right? It's not too much to ask for.
Yeah, exactly. And then the filter will see it and then allow the games to be, taken out. Now, some people obviously will defy that. But if you get found out, the consequences for the sale of your game could be worse.
You know, they do a similar thing with ads, right? So Steam doesn't allow ads in games that force you to watch them. And you know, anyone that's heard me talk about Valve on this podcast will know I'm quite the fanboy. So you know, I just want to say, praise Lord Gaben, our Lord and Savior. Thank you for allowing us to have no ads in game, and for this AI thing as well. This is great. You know. It should be like this. You should be able to decide what you want to play or see, and you know, this is just freedom of choice, expression, etc., isn't it?
I think I don't know if you were on the show that time, Tara, but we talked about this subject, and me, Matt, and Trev basically said, or we think anyway, that if you're going to put an ad in the game, you put the ad in the game with the purpose of lowering the price of the game. So it's a give and take situation. So if you're going to put in an ad for whatever, you know, Coca-Cola or something like that, I want to see the game go down by $1 or more. If you put in 3 different products throughout the game, 5 different products throughout the game, then I want that price for the game to go down again, another few dollars. And if you can do that and still make your profit, which they will, believe me, they will, you can bring the price of the games down. Now, has anybody done that yet? No.
No, but they're going in the opposite direction. You know, we're seeing full price AAA games that have got gacha mobile game mechanics in them, and almost every game does now.
And so go ahead.
It's the opposite.
Matt. You wanted to say something, Matt? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it's quite ridiculous that. I glad that Steam will do it again, Valve. It's just whether the other game developers, browsers would actually follow that through as well, whether they have a bit that will say, hey, this has got AI or not. So it'd be interesting to see if they follow through.
Hey, look, Steam's at the top of the heap. If you make your money from Steam, so they have a lot of weight when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, to switch to another story along the same lines, we end up finding out that apparently there's been a lot of players that have accused Call of Duty of using generative AI. This has been going on for months. All right, they said, no, we know this, et cetera, et cetera. There were some examples, like they showed a picture of a zombie Santa Claus. And on the zombie Santa Claus, you see he has 6 fingers on one hand. And the ribbon on the package that he's used, and I will put this image up, you know, in the video podcast version. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look normal. So they've been saying this for months, and then all of a sudden, after months, they decided to come out and say, "Well, yeah, we did use some generative AI tools in the game assets." Like, oh, okay. So they flat out lied, you know, that they were about it, or let's say they didn't say anything about it, so they kind of like, you know. Telling the truth.
Evidence against us is stacked up too high. We can't lie anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also because of the move that Valve made, they decided they better say something because, again, they do get a lot of sales off of Valve as well, or Steam, I should say. So that was pretty interesting, though. So now they've already admitted it, and they've definitely been using it. So it's just like, you know, just don't pull the wool over our eyes. Just, you know, we're going to spot it out, and there are professionals out there that know what to look for.
No wonder that game was good.
That's right. They take it out, the whole game goes down the crapper.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just back to number 2 again. There we go.
So we see what that's all doing. So that thought that was pretty interesting. So we'll see where this develops, and we'll report it more on our AI corner on our podcast. But for now, we're going to move off to some hardware tech news.
Get your FPS on with hardware and tech news.
And this time we're going to talk to Tarl. He's got a few things to talk about. So go ahead, Tarl.
Okay, thanks, Grace. So I think our last pod, we just missed the announcement of the pricing for the new AMD GPUs by a day, which is really annoying. But lots of people probably already know now that the 9070 and the 9070 RX have come out, and they are retailing at $549 and $599, which I think are pretty okay prices.
Yeah.
They're not amazing. I would have liked to have seen at least $50 less on each SKU. Actually, I think I probably would have preferred to see $100 less on the 9070 non-RX, and about $50 less on the 90 on the RX, the 9070 RX. When you look at the stack and how it compares to everything else, and of course just for AMD to actually get some people to buy these things. And so yeah, the prices are okay. And there was an article that came out, it was on Rock Paper Shotgun, and they were saying that the pricing is decent as long as the prices hold. I think the prices will hold. In fact, AMD seem to have a pricing strategy that they've been doing for a very long time now, which is release their video card, which compares to NVIDIA's video card, at $50 less, and then after about a month, maybe 3 months, they discount it fairly highly. So yeah, probably that's going to happen again. So if you want to get the cards right now, go ahead and do so. I think they're decent. I think this generation in general is not great. It's really not great. And this is coming from someone, I mean, my job is literally to build and sell people computers. It's very hard for me at the moment to say, with my hand on my heart, yes, you should definitely buy this, 5080. It's a great graphics card or whatever, it's very difficult. But I don't think that AMD are too far behind NVIDIA this generation with the poor value propositions. So as it stands at the moment, I think they are the best value you can get in the market this current generation. And I think that we're going to talk a little bit more about the 5070 shortly, which was just all the review embargoes are off today. And I've seen some of the there's very interesting videos. And I think this represents the worst value of this generation. In fact, looking at them, the 5070 especially represents possibly the worst value I've seen in a very, very long time.
I mean, if I was NVIDIA, and I'm sure they're thinking this, but I think this has been the biggest embarrassment for NVIDIA when it comes to the GPUs, not the other things that they're into. But generally speaking, that's one of the reasons why AMD hasn't been going for the high-end card, because they just kind of relegated it to NVIDIA and said, yeah, that's fine, we'll do other things. And now all of a sudden they're kind of gaining without even trying, because NVIDIA has been having problems. I mean, every day we turn around, we hear stories about which card is having what problem. I mean, between the missing ROPs that we talked about last week to some of the things you're going to bring up in a second. I mean, it's just like, how many more things are going to go wrong? Some of the biggest influencers out there on YouTube are like, you see the screenshot or the thumbnail where they're all going like this with their head over their hand on their head. They're all going like this on their cheek, and they're all like,
there's fire in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. So maybe since we're kind of going into it, I'll let you expand on that.
And NVIDIA's that dog in the middle of the fire just sitting there saying, "This is fine."
We can tell a couple more.
No problems here. It's all good.
Yeah. But Gray, you say that NVIDIA are going to be embarrassed about this generation. You know what? I think they should be embarrassed, but that embarrassment is going to dry up very quickly when the billions of dollars start rolling in.
Of course,
and they will, because people will still buy them in their droves. And let's be honest, right? The NVIDIA cards are very good. They're especially the higher end ones now. The 5090 is absolutely incredible. It's really, really, really great card. Do they offer great value?
No, $4,500. Yeah.
Well, yeah. They're not good value, but they are good products for sure. Especially when it comes to all of the features, like the broadcast suite and the professional side of things, and the features like your DLSS and the ray tracing. They are absolutely the best in the market, no doubt. So people will continue to buy them. It's just a real shame that NVIDIA take advantage of their customers with their anti-consumer practices, their anti-consumer pricing, anti-consumer practices. And I really hope that, the day will come when, this will turn around and that, just like happened with Intel, that, AMD were able to come in and basically steal almost all of their market share. And I'm not in any way I'm not biased. Actually, that's not true. I am a bit biased against Nvidia because of their anti-consumer practices. But I'm not like, I don't like AMD and hate Nvidia or anything like that. I just want to see good products for good prices in a competitive market where consumers are, number one thought, not the last thought. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment, and I don't like it.
I don't either. What do you think, Matt?
I think that they're trying. They're getting there. I'm being positive here. I'm hoping they do. I also would be nice if they actually had really good software, a bit like the Nvidia, to do your drivers for you and get things sorted out. If they had that, I think I would probably be right on their side pretty much. I am kind of biased myself, but it's only because of ease of use and because I've been used to it. So I normally go Nvidia, but because of what's going on at the moment, I'm 50-50. I'm kind of being drawn into the AMD side. So I might be going down there in the future if all goes this way. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you on CPU side of things. I mean, I had an AMD before I went back to Intel again, but I flip-flopped AMD, Intel many times. Not on the GPUs though. But if I was putting together a computer now, I would have to seriously consider the AMD GPU because the price is just too crazy. Not just the other technical issues that makes it even worse, but the money is just ridiculous. And
so much.
And even some of my predictions that I made a long time ago about how expensive the cards were going to get, they're even more expensive than I said they were going to be.
That's wild. The price exactly control.
And I was already going like on the high end, and this guy gets already beaten that, and I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to look. The only thing I saw over here that was at least, possible was I believe there was a system that was almost $4,000, but it had a 5090 in it. Now, some of the other parts though were okay. Not what I would have
skimping
picked
elsewhere, I think, to get that price point.
Exactly. They weren't terrible, but
insights from Dell.
Yeah, exactly. But in a way, it's kind of funny because when you see the money out there for $4,000 and up for a 5090, I'd go buy that computer for I think it was $3,800 and just pull the damn card out of there and sell it.
Yeah,
I mean that's going back to what things were like in the crypto mining boom and during COVID when people were just buying pre-builds and then selling the rest of the stuff that they didn't want. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If I sold it even if I sold it for $3,800, I could probably get more for it. I essentially now just got all the whole computer with the exception of the GPU for free. Yeah. So now all I got to do is take that money now and turn around and buy an AMD card or whatever, or an older used Nvidia, and I'm like flying. Like,
I think if I were to suggest, or someone were to ask me, what should they do at the moment? I think it's a bit of a difficult time. I think the market is quite tough at the moment. I would wait at least until and again, this is from someone that literally sells these things as a living. And I'm saying, just wait. Don't buy them in a moment. Wait until there's more in stock, so you're not getting scalped. That's my number one thing. Yeah. And also just wait until AMD has released their full range as well, so that you can make an informed decision. Essentially, that's what I would suggest.
By the way, just to interrupt for a quick second, so I should have said it before, but Trev is not on with us this week. He is taking the day off. And Trev will be back as soon as possible. So, alrighty, Trev. Hello. Okay, go ahead, back.
Get well soon, Trev.
Continue with your dancing.
So, I just wanted to switch over slightly now to the 5070, which had the embargoes released today. And well, as I said earlier, it's not great. Basically, and there's a hardware unboxed video specifically that I'm going to reference here, where and let me just bring up this screenshot, and I'm going to hit the share button.
And see if it works.
My first time doing this, so let me just see that I can.
Don't worry.
Is this working?
Can he do it?
Okay, here we go. I've pressed the button. Did it work?
Boom.
Are you seeing the chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a screenshot from the hardware unboxed video, so I want to make sure that I'm, giving credit to Hardware Unboxed here. Go watch their videos; they're really good. They do all of the benchmarking every time a new graphics card comes out, and it's the best place to look for benchmarks.
Right.
And so this is a 6 game average at 1440p. So it's all the the popular games. I can't remember exactly what they are, but look at those 2 green bars, guys. The 4070 Super and the 5070. They're the same. They're literally the same.
And this makes me laugh because I have a 4070 Super, and I'm not about to give it up. So
Yeah.
So this is ray tracing. There's also another chart which I didn't save, but where rasterization is, I think maybe just a couple of points ahead for the 5070, which really is in like your degree of margin of error. 1 to 3% is kind of margin of error. So
which means they could be even the same or even worse.
Yeah, so I think what's happened here essentially, because you guys may not know, but there was no die change, or not die. I can't think of the right word right now. I can't think of the right word, but we haven't gone down in nanometers from the 4000 series to the 5000 series, so it's essentially the same silicon as the 4000 series, and I think that's what's showing here. It's essentially the same card, both in rasterization and in ray tracing. Now, of course, you probably all know the line that Jensen said when he got up on stage is 5070. It's got the performance of the 4090. The crowd goes wild, and it's sorry, Jensen, that's bullshit. That's utter bullshit. I mean, just look at the charts. It's not even close. Yeah. It is barely half the card of the 4090. It's maybe a 3090, but probably not even that. So, in rasterization, it looks to be essentially the same card. And in ray tracing, the ray tracing performance is hindered by the fact that it just doesn't have enough VRAM. So if you're gonna play a ray traced game, maybe like what's the new Indiana Jones one with there's mandatory ray tracing? Yeah. Well, if you want to play this game, you want to crank up the effects, right? You want to crank up the settings and make it look nice, and turn on your ray tracing, maybe even your path tracing. And I think that the 5070 was getting something like 13 frames per second in Indiana Jones. So it's not only the same card when it comes to rasterization, but it's also not particularly good in ray tracing because it's held back from that 12 gigabytes.
By the way, was the 13 frames with the frame generation on or off?
That was off, yeah. So that was I think, okay. with But so this is the only thing, right? So you make a good point there, Gray. The frame generation is literally the only thing that sets apart the current generation. Yeah. Well, not the whole current generation, but at least the 5070 from the 4070 or the 4070 Super.
I would say more than one card. Maybe not the highest, but yeah, I think a bunch of cards.
Not the 5090, but I think it's
everything else
underneath that. Everything else seems to be the same. I think the 5070 Ti looks to be the one that has the best performance per dollar. Looking at all of the charts and things, I think the 5090 is the best, and very much so the 5070 is the worst so far. So I'm interested to see what will happen with the 5060.
So it's almost like the 4090 is becoming the new 1080 Ti that everybody used for years.
Yeah,
I mean, I got to admit, if I was able to find a pretty good price for a 4090, I might even pull a trigger and get it. But
you won't know. That's the thing. You won't. They'll be holding their
everybody's doing the same thing.
Yeah, when the current range is this bad, people are not going to be selling their 4090s. That's for sure.
I don't blame them.
I'm going to sell my 7040. Look at that. Yeah, I can sell mine for 10 grand if anybody wants it.
Yeah. Well, if you have a 7 series card, I'll do that.
So yeah, 1% better. It's not setting my world on fire. It's not really setting anything on fire. In fact, I'm cold. I'm freezing cold over here.
I think they're setting themselves on fire.
Yes,
purposely.
Yes.
So
you know what? The weird thing about it is that NVIDIA well, okay, I'm just gonna say it flat out, even though I may not mean it entirely. They don't care. They're making gazillions of dollars off of their AI chips and everything else. And I think that's part of the reason why they had such a bad launch, because obviously they put more effort into their other areas than they did this GPU. And now all of a sudden they're getting the bad press, which I'm sure they're not happy about. But at the same time, the bottom line isn't going to really be affected much for them. Now, this has been a thing for years with NVIDIA. It's a love-hate relationship. There's never anything in the middle. I love this thing.
That's a good way to describe it.
This way.
Love their products, hate
the
the
and they suck that way. It's just crazy. So at least AMD is not so I guess arrogant. I'm not saying they're perfect, but
I think, Gray, it's only because they don't have the market share. If AMD was, if it was the other way around and AMD had 90% market share, they'd be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's not beat around the bush, right? Companies are not our friends. They're not here to do good things for us. They're not here to do favors for us. They're here to make money. And
but
if they have a great product,
if you're going to hit me over the head, at least be nice about it.
They do it behind your back. What more do you want?
Or at the very least, if they're going to hit you over the head, at least do it with a decent product that is, reasonable value. I don't mind paying lots of money for a great product. I just resent paying loads of money for a product that's not that great.
Yeah,
for sure.
And the last thing I wanted to touch on, just a very, very quick one, is the issue that we talked about last week with the ASRock motherboards and the 9800X 3D and some of the CPUs burning up. I've not got a lot to say here, but one thing I did want to say is I think looking at all of the evidence last week, it looked as though it was just an ASRock problem. That seems to be not the case. So I just want to be clear on that. It's not just an ASRock problem, but it does seem to be a majority ASRock problem. So I think of all the cases that have come to light, of the 20 or 30 or whatever, almost all of them are ASRock, but there are, I think, one or two from Gigabyte and MSI and a couple from Asus as well. So just wanted to be clear on that, because I think last week I said...
was the fix in the BIOS the thing that actually worked? Is that...
It seems like the BIOS, the BIOS that they've released is fixing the issue. I think the advice seems to be that if you don't have any issues, you don't need to update your BIOS. But if you do, then you should absolutely update your BIOS as quickly as possible.
So it's funny when you say that, because it's kind of like, I smell smoke. I guess I better load in the new BIOS.
Yeah,
that's one way.
It might be a little too late, but
have I got time?
Warnings. Yeah,
you see it just kind of smoking, and you go like, and then all of a sudden it just poops into fire. Oh,
yeah. Well, hopefully before you get flames coming out of your PC, you might get a few crashes or something that will make you think maybe there's a problem. If you're getting flames, it's probably too late. Sorry,
that's a big problem then.
Yeah, big problem. But I think this is still an unresolved issue. I don't think they know exactly what it is, because I think the BIOS all it's done is just pull back the voltage a little bit. In fact, I think in some of the ASRock motherboards, it was a lack of voltage. Now that I think about it, it wasn't enough voltage. So I don't know exactly what's happening here, to be honest. Hopefully over the coming weeks we'll see, this come to light, what's actually happening. But it's not good. There's lots of things are on fire.
Yeah, ongoing investigation.
Yeah. We'll probably see another big expose from Gamers Nexus soon. ASRock have been lying to you.
And we'll just get AMD and go like, no kidding.
Yeah, right. And that's it for me. Any thoughts on your CPUs blowing up, or
unless Matt does?
I've known that there's, does this issue be like the same kind of causalities? Because I know what's it, the 13th, 14th gen of Intel's one that was causing issues, and they were saying the same thing. Oh, if you update your BIOS now, you won't have these problems of corrosion-y.
Yeah, corrosion,
CPUs.
rusting, and all.
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of makes you think. Is this a good time to actually start updating or upgrading,
really,
or doing a brand new build up at this stage? Like,
Agreed.
wow. Yeah, and especially with BIOS updates as well. I know quite a few people are like, "Oh yeah, let me just do it now," sort of thing. It's taken me a while to actually do my BIOS, where it did kind of go.
Well, that's because
iffy.
you've been typing the code in yourself. That's kind of hard.
It's not an easy process, is it, for someone that doesn't know what they're doing? To upgrade your BIOS, it's not easy.
It's not easy. I mean, it's nice now these days. You got two different ways, but it's still kind of a headache. Put on USBs, press a button on the thing. Yeah, it is. It's scary because that can literally just destroy. Yeah.
I don't blame him. It's kind of scary too.
Make or bake. Yeah, pretty situation, isn't it?
I mean, lots of people don't even know this is a thing,
Yeah,
I know I'm older than you guys, but you should remember when BIOS before they got these.
You're older than us guys?
Yeah. I just look at it. I'm not really.
1,000 years old.
But they used
Yoda.
before they came with Flash BIOS and all this other garbage. BIOS was really hard to update back then. I can remember being scared shitless when I had to do it once. I'm sitting there going like, no, everything's gonna be garbage. I'm gonna be out of it. I was like, oh god, it worked.
To be fair, I think BIOS flashback is actually one of the best features to come out of the PC world in a long time.
No doubt.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's taken away some of the heart-wrenching, pull your hair out situations that we used to have a lot of, and I think there was a lot more issues back then.
I think I also remember not this board, but I think the board I had before. There was a BIOS update that they wanted, and what I was really surprised is when I booted up the computer, the BIOS actually came up before it booted into Windows and said, "We are updating your BIOS now," and I'm like, okay. Yeah, and it all went through the internet. They just did it and it updated, and that was the end of that.
Damn, that must have been a big problem.
I guess I don't know, but all I know is it happened, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever.
Wish mine could do it on its own.
Yeah, really. All right, we'll move off the hardware tech news for now. We'll get back to some of it in a little bit. We're gonna move into some game news.
It's time for game news.
And I think the first thing we're going to do is talk to Matt. He's played a couple things, and I especially want to hear about the second game you're talking about. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Hello, dears, and welcome to the game news.
My corner.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we got the guy introducing it, so,
Yeah. There you go. Game news. There you go. Right, so, what's it? One thing that threw my balls at my Steam thing is with the GTA 5. Which has an enhanced free. There's a new word for you. Free.
That's easy for you to say, Matt.
Yeah.
Freebie.
Yeah, I haven't been drinking. Freebie. There we go. Which gives you new features and technical enhancements. It's free, which is nice. It's always nice to have that kind of thing. So with this option, it's not just for the consoles as well. So there you go. Gives you new ray tracing options, including ambient occlusion and global illumination. Haha, I saw that one. Never mind. Plus ray traced shadows and reflections. Oh, I couldn't write it down. I tried. There you go. Oh, I didn't pay for this. It's also got performance improvements, support for AMD FSR. There you go, and FSR 3, and also DLSS 3 for the NVIDIA peoples out there.
Cool.
So that gives you faster loading times using SSD and direct storage on supported devices. So you get with that as well. Enhanced graphics, improvement to frame rates, higher resolutions, and aspect ratios, including widescreen support as well. So if you all got those funky, massive,
the 24 by 9
that bend over everywhere, you can keep that still. It'll support it. There you go. So it's also got the control support as well. They've added extras for that, including DualSense controller support with adaptive triggers. And they also have enhanced the audio. So they got all Dolby Atmos and improved fidelity of speech, cinematics, and music for you. So that's that part of it. It's also got new content. Yeah, that's in there too. I'm sure it is. So has a few adverts. So there's also new content for vehicles, such as the Coil Cyclone 2 Super. I've had trouble with the names of these cars. I'm just like, what the heck is that?
Oh, I love the Coil Cyclone 2 Supla. Great car. Yeah.
I'm more of the
Wait a minute,
Divesti 80.
it's starting to sound like an NVIDIA card now.
Yeah.
Like,
And here in my oven is a car.
Cyclone Super.
Yeah. There you
Cyclone
go.
Super TI.
Yeah, but it's also got the Arbiter GT as well.
Yeah.
Another classic.
There's loads of vehicles they brought in, upgradable vehicles as well, like the Principe Deveste 8.
Yeah,
I say
sure.
it better than they do.
These are just made up words now, aren't they?
They are definitely. They are
real.
The Emity M2 and the Overlute and the Grotti Itali. There's another one. There you go.
This is great.
Yeah. All I
Well,
know
they
is the
just make it more
Bravado
beautiful.
Banshee. That's the only one I know. But there you go. New missions for online gaming. The Oscar Guzman Flies again. Sorry, not files.
Flies again.
With the DLC introduces new missions where players can expand their arms trafficking business. They've also brought in a couple of new graphics for aircraft, such as the Western Duster and the Buckingham DH Iron Mule, which is that big Chinook wannabe thing. Which I gotta say, they do look kind of nice. Yeah,
It sounds kind of like they're doing all this because they know the next game. Obviously, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely, especially for us PCers.
I hear it's not meant to be good as well, this next game.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be terrible, so nobody buy it. So
what
I
I'm
can.
waiting for,
Yeah.
to be honest, is now that
I
they
wouldn't
did these
bother.
Nah.
now they did these updates to the GTA 5. The next story you're going to hear in a week or two from now is how GTA 6 is going to be delayed.
Yeah. For another 2 years.
Oh, God, can you imagine? They delayed it for 2 years.
Yeah. Or they're going back to the OG and it's going to be top down.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, top-down GTA is best GTA.
Those are the days. Oh,
Yeah, those are the days.
those are the days. More,
You're talking about the
PS.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Where
the
you-
top-down view?
You didn't
or the
have
convertible?
talking. You had back in them days.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God, it was great. Me and my friend, we used to get 50 cars all lined up and then blow one of them up and then make a great big explosion domino.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Or
why can't they
what's
keep
it, the
stuff like that in the
cultists
game?
that are walking around in a line and you just run them all over and you just see them
Yeah.
blood streaks everywhere. It's brilliant.
See, that's gonna lead up to our special we're gonna do one day about games being better or worse now than yesterday. Not on the
Absolutely.
graphics side, but on other
Hey,
things.
we don't need to do a special about it. They just are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, Avowed. Hello. I mean, amongst other
Except for
games.
that one. That was shit.
Yeah. I'll tell you just to
I didn't even have to play it to know it.
Just to interrupt for a second, Matt. I played Avowed, and this is the weird thing about it. I start playing it, and I really like what I'm doing. It's fun, and then you hit a brick wall. Okay, fine. Then you start playing again. Okay, now this is fun, and this is kind of cool. Then you hit a brick wall, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and then you hit a brick wall. That's what the game is like. I
Yeah.
can have a lot of fun and hit a wall, and then all of a sudden, so I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting tired of hitting the walls all the time. I mean, and a lot of the things that people have been saying about the game, is true. But the thing that I think that part of the problem is, I guess, is that, and this comes with an age thing, not just people my age, but people that are your age, less in between, whatever. They've gotten used to this kind of stuff. And so when you see people say like, well, Avowed's like a great game, and I'm going like, wait a minute. Great means the whole game is great with very little to not like.
Maybe it's the first game they played
Yeah, whatever.
ever. Yeah.
So when you start hearing things like that, I'm going like, do you not see that when you're shooting some of the enemies, they just act like nothing's happening? Their health meter goes down, but they don't seem to be really affected by it otherwise. I said, when you walk up to people, they don't talk. When you walk through people, they don't go out of the... I mean, look, back when Witcher 3 was done, and we're talking 10 years, more than that, when Geralt ran through the streets, I purposely used to like bump into people. Because every time you bumped into somebody, they went back like this, like they really were bumped into. And then they would say, hey, what are you doing? Nowadays, you can't even bump into the people, and they won't say a word anyway.
They're like brick walls themselves. Yeah.
And I'm
Nothing
sitting there
comes
going,
out of them. You're just like there.
So
No,
then when
not
you
moving.
find somebody that talks in Avowed, like they said, it's all scripted. So this person talks and goes, blah, 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 blah. And you're going like, well, wait a minute, I was just talking to the guy over there, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And then the funniest one though is that you get into a battle in the street, and I've done this just like the video did. I get into a battle trying to kill this guy, and the people just sit there. They don't even watch the fight. They don't say anything about the fight. They don't react. They don't get involved. They get nothing. They're like phone poles, street lights. They just sit there.
Lazy game design.
Oh,
absolutely.
God, yeah.
And it doesn't really take much for somebody who's been doing gaming to add those little features to it that make a huge difference.
Exactly. When they had these features going on in games 15, 14, 12, 20 years ago, you mean to tell me you can't do it now?
Yeah.
I mean, and then they cry about the AI. Hell, man, if it takes AI to like you were talking about before, Matt, if it takes AI to say, okay, AI, why don't you have these guys act like when they get bumped into something happens or they say something, then damn it, use the AI if you're so freaking lazy.
Absolutely,
just so you can get into some.
Maybe it has been made by AI and they just didn't add that bit to it.
Because you can get.
Don't you know, Gray?
Go ahead.
It's too expensive to make good games these days.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
That's another cop out that they talk about, as we all well know. I mean, especially when you see some of the other smaller producers. In fact, next week we're going to talk a little bit about some of the demos that Steam's been putting up. These are not big companies that are putting some of these demos out, and some of the demos are looking good. Some are not, true, but a bunch of them are. And I'm like,
yay for indies.
Yeah, I mean, more power to them. If an indie can put out a game of that kind of quality, I couldn't care if all the AAA companies went out of business. I don't want to see people lose their job, but I'm just saying that in generalities. I think the people that lose their jobs at the 3As should go to work and open up their own indie and start.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I bet, and some of them have.
Yeah.
So they should. Anyway, I want to hear about this next game you played, Matt, because I'm looking forward to this one. Go ahead.
Oh yes.
Yeah, me too.
So I saw this on the demo side of the Steam that you were just talking about. There you go. Mm-hmm. And I saw Dune Awakening. I was like, oh, yes, I'm going for it. Yes. And it wasn't a demo per se of the game itself or any part of it, but it does have a benchmark, which I ran. And I'm just going to throw this up in here. There you go. There's my benchmark of Dune Awakening. Yeah. So it's telling me that I got numbers of 155, 160 for different parts of the game. So inside a base, it would eventually, give me an average of 155. Even though I did think I saw just 59 running up on the FPS on the screen. In a village, it goes up to 163. And then when I'm chasing sandworms, it's 191.
Really?
So it's
not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
What card are you running, man? I forgot.
It's the 4070 Super Overclock. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I got. Okay, cool.
The beast above.
So this is an MMO, right? Dune Awakening? Or is it kind of like a semi-MMO?
I think it's a semi-MMO. You got missions to do. There is a storyline as well to follow, which I've kind of figured out running this, because along with the benchmark, there is a character creator. And while I was doing the character creation, you do get the Reverend Mother talking to you, saying where was your history, and a few questions, ask you when you lie. And then they say, you're going to go and do this mission for us, and then you're out in the open to do whatever you want, sort of thing, which I thought was an absolute lovely addition to just creating a character, sort of thing. Yeah. Which there's quite a few styles. It's quite interesting to see what they have for character customizations, which is quite nice. There's quite a lot to choose from. And also for doing that and taking part of the Dune Awakening benchmarking, you get a free knife skin, which is nice.
Oh, really?
Cool. Yeah. Just a nice little knife with a good hilt on there. So yeah, getting ready for it to come out on May the 20th.
Okay.
Marked down as
that's really
$50. Yeah.
That's
March.
That feels like
May.
Too soon.
May.
No, they've been talking about this game for a while. So
yeah, but the last time I saw it was maybe about, I don't know, half a year ago, and it didn't look anywhere near complete.
Well, now it is
True,
sort
true.
of.
Yeah.
They
Well,
used
I'm
AI
glad,
to finish it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy you were able to. I'm happy you were able to tell a lot just from the benchmark and the character creation, Matt. So
Yeah, we'll see how that runs true when the game's actually out.
Yeah.
It's in my hands. Because I was in two minds whether to get this. I was like, it looked kind of like, it's a bit too open and not much in between, not much to do or anything like that. So I was just like,
I really like the Dune series. I hope the game is good.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm going to give this
yeah.
a look, I think. Yeah.
Are any
Yeah, it should be quite
of the
interesting.
are any of the actors from the movies doing the voices? Probably not. I
Nope.
haven't heard anything.
Yeah, not that I've seen so far, especially from the Reverend Mother. I don't think that her voice was
Yeah.
on there. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But you have a few quite good characters in there for the different people. What would you call them?
People.
Segments of people.
Segments.
Races?
Different races. There you go.
I just people. There's things and peoples. I don't know.
Just because they have fangs coming out the bottom of their
Gravy.
jaw all the way
Yeah.
over their head doesn't mean anything.
That's it. And the cloaky people and the very pale, eyebally people things.
Eyeball,
Smiley
yeah.
people. Yeah. So here we go.
All right, well,
definitely be interesting to see.
I would hope that maybe. Well, I don't know if we're going to see a demo of it before May 20th. It'd be nice if they did.
Might be, yeah. I think they might do.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun. I mean, if
Maybe
you
a
if you're
pre-release.
confident, the thing that I maybe I'm thinking wrong, but the thing I think with demos is that if you feel pretty confident about the game you made, you should release a demo. Now, if you're not that confident, and you don't release it, then that could actually mean something's not right or you're not finished.
Yeah.
But I think putting a demo out for just about every game is worth it, even if it's only, one level or one mission. Let's say it's only just one mission. That's all. I mean, that still gives you a good idea of kind of what's going on with
What
it.
to expect. Yeah.
And I think and we'll talk about it more next week, but I think that's nice that Steam's doing that stuff. It's like we said last week, it goes back to the old days when you had the CD-ROM thing. you have
CDs in the back of a magazine or
CD on my PC Gamer Mag.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
You see the CD hanging from the side of it, and you're like,
Yeah,
see it. And I can remember there was like 500 demos, and like 2/3 of them were all garbage.
yeah.
There's always a couple.
Definitely.
That was maybe one or two good ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just staying with the game news, Tarl, you wanted to cover something?
Oh yeah. I forgot I was doing this. I'm doing a game.
Yeah, you're doing a game.
Nice.
This is my first time doing a game.
Yay.
I do play the occasional game. Most of them are 20 plus years old, but I do play some games. And this one caught my eye. So my friend and business partner Frank, who, if you've seen the live chat sometimes, is Frankus on here, and he sent this to me thinking that I would absolutely love it, and of course I do. So is anyone here a fan of the Terminator?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So what about Terminator 2?
Yeah. Had it on the Game Boy.
Terminator 2 is absolutely the second best action sci-fi movie of all time after Aliens.
Yeah.
And just like Terminator is the second best horror sci-fi film after Alien.
Yeah.
So I am really excited about this, and I am just going to play a trailer, I think, because I can't do this
Please do.
justice.
Yeah.
So let me do a couple of things
I think
and
I've
see
watched
if I
it
can
3
make this
times
work
already.
again.
I'm just like,
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you've seen it. It looks wicked.
Yeah, we're all gonna. I don't hear any volume, but don't worry, I'll put that in the end.
I'm doing it justice. Hello. No.
Hell yeah.
See, I like the opening, but then when it got to this part where we're dealing with 8-bit,
No, this is the best. Look at it. Look, this is like, do you remember Contra? Matt, you probably know Contra.
Yeah.
This is like Contra with a little bit of, I guess, some Metroidvania type stuff going on as well. And it just follows the film. It looks amazing.
It looks like Doom.
And
Well, graphics move at least anyway.
I'm so excited about it. That's a damn minigun.
I'll tell you what is funny watching this, even though maybe I don't care about it because it's 8-bit, but you do see some of the stuff in this game that you don't even see in the newer games. Like these days, they don't even show you blood anymore. So, on some games, and in this one they do it.
And if you get to that part in the film and you're not crying your eyes out, you're just not even
something
human.
wrong with you.
Yeah,
something very wrong with you.
You work for Nvidia or something. Or PlayStation.
So, I don't know about you guys, but that looks amazing. I'm a big fan of the Terminator universe. Of course, the Terminator universe, which is the first 2 films. Nothing else exists. They didn't make any Terminator films after that. So I was really... No, they didn't, no, actually. And some of the detail...
third one, it was okay. I'm not going to say it was as good as
only for one particular reason.
Well, okay, well, that helps too, but...
Cyber Terminator girl?
Yeah. Did any of you guys see Genesis?
She could turn around. Oh,
I didn't see Genesis, but that was the one when that Schwarzenegger came back.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. But I heard there was some good stuff in it, though.
I didn't mind the one with what's his face in it. I'm Batman. I'm Terminator.
Oh, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah. Oh, like Salvation.
Didn't mind that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the one where the guy turns into like the swarm? You know, the little like nanobot swarm. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
I think that was Genesis, wasn't it?
Was that Genesis?
I think. He was like a black. His coloring was like black when he did things.
Yeah.
What did you think of the most recent one? The one with where Sarah Connor came back. Dark Fate.
Yeah, Dark Fate. Yeah. It was okay. They needed to add a little bit extra. I mean, especially script wise, it was kind of lacking.
Yeah, of
course. Was good. It was lacking.
Visually, it was okay.
Now here they're gonna recreate and redo.
They got John in the end. Says it all.
So this game, Terminator 2D No Fate, is going to be out on PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch. It doesn't say Switch 2, but I'm assuming it will be Switch 2 as well. Xbox and PC. And it's released on... it's miles away, guys. September the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, the good thing is that you can run it
back to the Game Boy one for a while.
Yeah.
The good thing is if you have like a 20-year-old GPU, you can run it.
Look, I knew you weren't going to like this. You and your... If it's not got fancy, advanced 3D graphics, I'm not interested. Right? This is what real games are, Gray. All right?
I played all these games. Maybe that's the problem. I played all these games years ago. I'm like, okay, great. I'm behind that now.
It looks cool.
You just need to capture that Terminator's chip, and then you can get better graphics for the future.
Yeah.
I want to get that quantum chip that Microsoft's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check this out when it comes out. I'm not going to pre-order. I doubt they do pre-orders for this kind of game, but it looks very cool. I'm very excited about this. So
yeah, it's got a bit of nostalgia back, but it's got like a lot more movements in there. A lot more lighting going on as well, so it's like it's quite nice.
And the sound, the soundtrack was amazing, right? They've got all of the sounds in there, and it's just so cool. So cool.
Yeah. I think I did it justice by singing.
Maybe I'll grab the game just to get all the sounds out of it.
Yeah.
I'll make sound clips so we can play it.
Yeah.
You can review the game and I'll just play all this stuff.
That's it, yeah.
Did Arnold come back and do the voice? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Yeah, he only says a couple things, so I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he never had too many lines, did he? So it won't be a huge loss. But that's it. That's the end of my little game segment. I just like the look of that. I don't know if I'll ever do a game segment again because I don't play any modern games, but that's it.
Okay, all good.
You will.
Sticking with the game news, I'll be talking about some stuff. One of the things I wanted to bring up was Elite Dangerous. We haven't talked about that on the podcast in a very long time. And to be truthful, I left the game about 2 years ago, I guess. Now, I have 2,100 hours in the game, so that's more than I put in for any game. I mean, the next one after that would be, as far as hours-wise, would be Division 2, because I think I have like 800 hours in that one, 800 or 900. And then I have about 200, about 200, 150, 200, some RPGs. So 2,100 by far is the game I played quite a bit. But once it got to a certain point where you started hitting a brick wall, and there was nothing new really anymore. The only thing new they were doing was basically text based story. And what I mean by that is that they're good at writing the stories. That's fine. And I guess if you're into just stories and just lore, it was okay. But it really wasn't that exciting or new. Then they got into the Thargoid War, which already ended, and it started to get some interest of the people that left the game back. Because you're talking about a good boy. I think it was a minimum 40-50% of the people just jettisoned the game 2 years ago.
Really?
Oh yeah, they were very disappointed. And so now, after all this time, they've decided to put in a new DLC that we've all been wanting for years. We've been talking about this, and that's colonization. One of the things about the game with Elite Dangerous, if you haven't played
colonization.
Well, the thing with the what now? Sorry. You need a good colonization.
Just cut my bit out, okay?
That's called something different, though. In any case, they've come up with colonization, and what this is what we all screamed about. First of all, if you haven't played Elite Dangerous, for the new player, I just want to stress this: if you're new to Elite Dangerous and you never played it, you will have a blast. And if you take away the new DLC, you would have a blast all the way up until you hit the brick wall like I did, and then you're done. But now the players have been coming back in droves. They've gotten back. I don't know if they've gotten back everybody, but they've gotten back a lot. And the hubbub and the talk about it has been real. So what they decided to do is it's not really a DLC per se. It's an actual complete part of the game that they decided not to do early access or anything. They just dropped it right in the game. And what they're doing is anybody can play it, and they're just taking the feedback and then making corrections as they go. But generally, it's playable. So when I read this, I was wondering, like, wow, is this what I think it means? And it is. And what it is now, instead of being stuck in the bubble, and you basically are just going to the same planets and whatnot and doing some stuff and everything. And again, if it's new to you, that's great. But we've always wanted to get out, away from the bubble, like light years away, and pick out planets and go and build bases and expand and, et cetera, but they wouldn't let you do it. So finally, after all these years, this is the update called Trailblazers Update. It adds a whole new system of colonization. It's in beta. Well, they say it's in beta, but they said it's not a true beta because it's actually real and dropped into the game, and they'll just wing it along the way. Well, I mean, it's very much done. It's just that the little things here and there happen, so they're fixing things, but they didn't bring it out like half crap.
Hey, this is free content, right? So if it's not quite fully baked, that's fine. People only complain about that when people are, you're charging $80 for a half baked game.
Yeah. Well, when Odyssey came out and it was needed, they charged for it. But I think back then it was like $40-$50, and immediately that was the beginning of the downfall because there was they brought in ground-based action, which was cool, but they had lots of problems, and everything that people wanted, new ships and things like that, just none of that stuff was really happening. So that kind of was a bummer, and they weren't happy with because the sales on it were terrible. They lost money, but now Frontier, who does the game, is actually making money again. So I guess they're trying to put. I will give them credit that even though they're slow as molasses in doing stuff until they finally do it. They didn't abandon the game because many of us thought they were just going to flat out abandon the game. And we all felt bad about that because we figured, oh man, couldn't somebody just take it or buy it or do something? So they kind of let us suffer for 2 years, and now they finally look like they're getting back into it again. So essentially, in this mechanic, you have the power to claim and expand your own star systems, and all of that is going to be in your hands. Creating an economy, creating a trade routes, a new port of operations, new stations. I mean, I'm talking about from the little tiny station to the massive Coriolis stations that are in orbit around wherever you're putting it. So you can do all that. It has a system where basically what happens is you go out and you into the rest of the solar system. The limit is that you can't go more than a 16 light year radius of the center of the bubble. But Jesus, 16 light years in every direction. There's quite a lot of planets out there. And they did say that eventually they probably would expand that as people start, expanding. they'll slowly bring the light year radius out further. So you pick on a system that you want. You basically then go to a station which has a new contact that's in the game that is specifically for colonization, a guy, you want to call it that. And I can see Charles real interested. And
Sorry. No, I actually like Elite Dangerous. I've played this. This is a good game.
Okay.
This is where you need AI. Just take over from us. Just go
yeah, I'm gonna
have something to eat and drink and then come back.
I'm gonna look for a freeze frame of Tarl and just put it up there.
Yeah.
No, come on. Don't do that. Come on. This is the one time I do one yawn on this fucking podcast and you give me shit for it.
At least you did it to Gray and nobody else, so that's good. We all do it to Gray. Yeah.
In any case, again, what you do is when you find a system, you go to the contact at a station nearby, and you put in your claim. It's going to cost 25 million credits, which it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not bad at all. Especially when you know the game and you know how to make money in the game. It's not much. So you put the claim in 25 million, and then you have 24 hours to get to the point where it tells you to go to release a tracking satellite or a colonization satellite, probe, whatever you want to call it. So basically, you fly out there within the 24 hours, and it's just like approaching any other destination. And then you let the probe go. The probe basically starts sending signals out now for the colonization ship. Within a shortish time, a colonization ship arrives, and this thing is massive. I mean, it's huge. And this thing arrives and basically then tells you that, hey, cool, we're going to get ready to build your first station. Which one do you want? And you have to pick out what you want, either a smaller one or all the way up to the Coriolis. And then you start going after all the supplies you need. You can do this with your friends. Even though you own that claim, that doesn't mean your friends can't help you. Right now, I'm trying to get back into it with two of our Discord members, Mutiny and Trebshaw. And I think Matt was talking about maybe getting back in. So what we're going to do is now...
I might give this a go with you guys as well.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
I got to find where my ship is.
I say we because I'm talking about the three of us. But basically, Mutiny went out and found a system. He put the probe. The colonization ship is there, and now we have to get the supplies. As I've been hearing different people and stuff like that, there is one suggestion I can make that was very good by other players. They said that the bigger the station you want to build at the first point, okay, is going to take a lot of materials. Mm-hmm. So what some of them were saying is build the smallest one or next to the smallest one. It takes far less materials just so you have something and you fulfilled the obligation of putting your station there. You have, I believe, 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks. It might be 4, but I believe it's 3. You have 3 weeks to build the first station. If you don't build it, you lose your claim. So they have they have to put certain consequences and treat the game as serious because that's the way they've always done it. And so you need to do that. That's plenty of time though. But yeah, you got to do some work. So basically, then you need to go out and get all the different elements. You're going to have steel. You're going to have all kinds of different things you're going to need to build it. You've got to go out and start procuring it from vendors all over the place, and then load up your T9 ship, which is one of the biggest cargo ships in the game, and then fly over there and start loading into the colonization ship, and then the magic can start happening. So I'm really excited that this is a good reason to get back into it. So now I've reinstalled the game. I've got to get used to it again because I'm totally rusty on doing stuff. I got to relearn flying again and stuff. I'm sure it'll all come back to me, but still. And of course, one of the worst things is you want to try to do your keybinds correctly, and I had them the way I wanted them last time. And of course, I don't know where that backup file is. So now I got to go back in and I got to set the keybinds back up the way I want it. There's a lot of keys, a lot of binds. I would advise people that if you can, I'm not saying you have to go out and spend money, but if you can and you have a Stream Deck, you can put a lot of things on the Stream Deck. I do have one, and I had it all set up for really dangerous, and it was a big help. Or you can pick up maybe a programmable keyboard like mine, and you can go ahead. There you go, exactly. I have the first one that came out, so I don't have the extra large one. And you can go ahead and, on a programmable keyboard, you can program some macros in there to help you with certain things. If you can't, you can't. It's not that you can't play the game. It's not that you're not going to enjoy it. It's just that, these are things that'll help you. There is another little thing I'll plug too. I forgot the name of the guy that created this, but it's called ED Copilot. I never heard of this before. Apparently, it's been out a couple of years, and I never knew this. I got to give this guy credit. Boy, did he put together a cool system. So you basically install this thing. It basically puts itself into the game and creates a second screen with up to 30 different panels of information across the board. And you can put, if you have a second monitor, you can do Alt-Tab, pretty easily. But a second monitor is even better. So when you put it on a second monitor, you have all this stuff that at your fingertips that you never had when we first played. And it's got everything there. And on top of that, they also have a computer voice that talks to you. And you can adjust how much you want it to talk to you. She'll say something every 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, never. And she'll just bring up little facts or make a joke or say blah, 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 or whatever.
Commander, there are new bookmark entries to be imported. Please wait while I process these entries. I have new bookmarks for you, which I am adding to a new bookmark group named Thargoid Spire Sites. Please wait while I process the new bookmarks. I will display my progress on the voice log panel. All new bookmark entries processed with no errors, Commander. We have some setup tasks outstanding. Check the warning messages in the voice log.
They also introduced more sounds into the game, so when you're approaching a station, instead of just hearing the music and hearing them tell you to go land at landing pad 4A, you hear more chatter going on. So there's like space station chatter happening in the background, which really makes it even more immersive than it already is.
That sounds very cool.
It is cool. And I was like, well, I've just scratched the surface of this thing. I'm not 100% sure how to work everything yet, but I do know that it's very cool. So I would suggest if you just Google it, you're going to find it and put it into the game. So I think this is really exciting. If you've been doing in late dangerous like me and you left the game years ago, it's something you really can get back into and have fun. If you've never played the game, like I said before, you're going to have a blast. Anyway, like I was saying before, if you have not played Elite Dangerous ever, you will have a lot of fun. It's really, really a lot of fun. And you're going to have an advantage if you never played it, because now that they've added on the new stuff, you will not hit that brick wall either ever, or you'll enjoy it for a lot. I mean, look how many hours I've played. But now that there's colonization, I mean, they're going to introduce some new features as they go each year. So, gosh, with the whole... And if you didn't know this already, Elite Dangerous is a 1-to-1 experience of the Milky Way. So that means...
Awesome, isn't it?
It's huge. And there's the, every planet that actually has a real name in real life, or a star that has a real name, is all in the game. The only time that you would get a name that wasn't real is if it was a planet you decided to colonize or whatever. It's not in the actual star charts. And so that's possible. There's some of those. But they started out with the majority of everything that's known is there, which is pretty cool. So, yes, I would get into the game if you've never been in it. And if you're a player that left the game 2 years ago like me, get back in, because it sounds like this is going to be pretty cool.
I played a very long time ago. I'm a long-time EVE Online player. So when I tried Elite Dangerous, I thought it was a little one-dimensional, but it sounds like there's a lot of those gaps that have been filled by this. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's come a long way. It's been 10 years, I believe, and even longer if you go back to the tech space and the wireframes. It goes all the way back to the 80s or late 80s, early 90s, and so forth. But in this modern age of PC, it's 10 years old. Yeah. It doesn't look 10 years old. I mean, they've done things to it, and it looks gorgeous. Some people just play the game for the exploration, nothing else. And we've taken some long rides. We've jumped into a fleet carrier I had, and we went something like, I forget, I think 1,000 or plus light years out, and stuff. It took a while, but we looked at some interesting planets out there and then came back. It was pretty cool. Anyway, to move on to other games, there actually is other games. So, I never played this game really, but I know a lot of people were very happy with it, and in the older ones anyway. And that was Company of Heroes. Apparently, when Company of Heroes 3 came out, a lot of people apparently were very disappointed because they said
Same with 2 as well.
Yeah, they said the AI or the enemy AI or whatever, they weren't very smart. It wasn't tactical enough. They thought that key features were missing from the original games, and so the game didn't do that well when it launched. So apparently they've taken that to heart and they've released a new update. I think it's 2.0 update, and a Fire and Steel DLC. And apparently they've gotten a hold of all these issues that people complained about, and from what I'm understanding, that's all been tweaked up. So there is a good buzz going on that this is going to be good. The loyalty system's been completely retooled. There's no more penalties, meaning that the progress you make is now permanent. There are new tooltips, dozens of balance changes for multiplayer. Tank riding is faster and easier. Demo charges are more devastating against all target. Late game technological advances have been slowed slightly. They also said the U.S. forces get new heavy weapons battle group. The Wehrmacht, can't pronounce all this stuff, has a terror battle group. The British are joined by the Canadian Shock Team, and the Deutsches Afrika Korps gets the Panzerjäger Command Group. So this sounds like I want to play this game when it came out. I was almost gonna do it, and then I started hearing all this stuff, so I didn't bother. So now that I'm hearing this, I might want to get back into it. Apparently, the DLC is not free. But the Fire and Steel DLC is $25 or 1949 pounds. So be on that lookout for that one, and I think I might just pick it up because it sounds pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of the first one. I think the first Company Heroes is almost the perfect RTS. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah,
so great.
Sure.
And when the second one came out, I was disappointed because it wasn't anywhere near as good. And I thought, well, the third one's coming out, and I got that too, and I was, I think, even more disappointed than the second one. So, I'll be checking this out as well because I'm a big fan of the series, at least the first one.
I mean, I'm hoping that brings back the player base and stuff. They're going to have to go a long way, I guess, but we'll see. The third story I had kind of goes in hand with a story that we did last week, and we were talking about how NVIDIA is causing the old games to basically go out of existence because they decided they're pulling all support for PhysX, and the new 50 cards won't support it at all. So major parts of a game using Batman Arkham for an example, like we talked about last week, just aren't there anymore. So now I see this. It may not be as serious as that, but it says Nintendo will remove retro games from the Nintendo Switch online catalog.
Oh, boo.
So I'm going like, whoa,
boo, Nintendo.
Why would they remove retro games from an online catalog? I mean, it's just an online.
It must be a license thing. Yeah. Like an ownership.
What licensing? They're the ones that made the
Yeah, but they don't make everything first party, do they?
I guess, but I mean, what's it going to take? They make $1 gazillion. They can't leave these games that take up no room.
Oh no, I'm not arguing with you. This is not good.
Oh no, I know you're not. I was trying to read to see what they were talking about. It's going to go first. They said they're taking off Super Soccer. What else here? A couple other games are coming off. That one's from 1992, apparently. But what's happening is the people that are into game preservation, like we talked about last time, because essentially this is not game preservation, it's game elimination.
Yeah.
I'm still not happy in NVIDIA for doing this crap. So now it seems like it's happening again, but this time with Nintendo. Perhaps maybe not as bad, but bad enough. So if you basically are subscribing to their vault or whatever, you're going to start seeing games disappearing. And
how much is the subscription to that, by the way?
Let's see. I think I don't know exactly. Actually, it's not really in here. It doesn't say.
I'll have a look.
But it says here, Super Formation Soccer by Spike Chunsoft. Love that name. A title included on the Super Famicom Nintendo Switch Online will cease distribution at 10 a.m. Friday, March 28th. And then once distribution ends, even those who already downloaded the game will no longer be able to use it. So if you download the game, you can't even use it anymore. I don't get that. I mean, the whole point of downloading the game is so you can play it forever, right? You forget it. You're not going to be able to play it. I'm like,
Terrible.
what?
In the words of OCP director and RoboCop, I'm very disappointed.
I'm really shocked. I don't know how much further this is going to go. I mean, we keep on hearing more news about stuff like this disappearing. I mean, someone's going to have to come out and I don't know what. I mean, maybe they should take their game, load it up online or something, and if Nintendo goes after them, say, well, it doesn't exist anymore. You can't go after them.
Yeah, you might just have to resort to sailing the high seas.
Oh, that's true. Yep, maybe. Anyway, I just thought that was ridiculous. I mean, we just got done reading the one story. Now Nintendo's right there
Jumping
doing
on
it
there.
too.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. It's just like, what else are you gonna do? Anyway, we will turn back to some more hardware and tech news.
Hardware and tech news.
Matt's going to talk about some stuff, so you're up, Mr. Matt.
Ooh. Micron ships industry's first one gamma. I think it stands for gamma. I can never remember.
I know, I was trying to figure out what that letter was in the notes.
Yeah. That was the gamma. I remember. For the DRAM node in its groundbreaking move. This is set to elevate, the DDR5 capabilities to to new heights. There you go.
Simplify.
Yeah, that's it. This advancement marks a significant leap in memory technology, promising enhanced performance and efficiency for a wide range of applications. There you go. I didn't go quite.
But will it run those old games from Nintendo? No, I'm kidding.
Yes, yeah. In its museum state.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the speed of the Gamma DRAM node offers speeds of up to 9200 MTs for DDR5 and 9600.
Nice.
Yeah. For LPDDR5X. There we go.
It's not fast.
So it's like a 50% increase over its predecessors.
Yep.
So there you go. The power efficiency featuring over 20% power reduction due to the design optimizations and the use of extreme ultraviolet lithography. There you go.
Yeah, I could say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, go on then.
That's the method that all of the modern microchips are used. Is made by.
Yeah. So bit density, the node improves the density by over 30% per wafer compared to the previous generation as well. Yeah. Technological innovations of this, the EUV there we go again. Lithography.
I'll put the words underneath you on the screen.
Yeah. I need it. Finer features on silicon are enabled by the EUV, enhancing performance and efficiency. HKMG, CMOS technology, the high K metal gates. There you go. CMOS technology improves transistor performance, contributing to speed and power efficiency as above there.
You lost me at DRAM. No.
Yeah.
Well, wait. The most important thing I assume it's in what you're saying, but when do they say this is going to be available? I'm assuming it's going to be not for a while.
I think it's they already brought out test nodes for it, so it's out there, being worked on.
So probably another year or two, I'm guessing. I don't know.
I wouldn't think it'd be that long because they already got DDR6 coming out, haven't they? So by this year, apparently. So there you go. They're going to use these for applications and impact through data centers, meeting the growing memory bandwidth demands of AI and cloud workloads. Just for you, Gray. Yeah. Consumer devices, so the gains of the LPDDR5X efficiency translate to longer battery life and better performance in AI-powered smartphones, laptops, Tesla cars. They need it.
I kind of would like to take one of those and like put it in my brain so I could think a lot faster.
Yeah, I think they're looking for test subjects for test this mind chip. AI ecosystem for AI-driven workloads from edge computing to large-scale machine learning models. So there you go. The introduction of this 1 gamma DRAM node positions it as a leader in the memory technology industry. My nose went all funny. Ahead of competition.
Yes.
I'm just going to say competition like SK Hynix and Samsung. The strategic use of the lithography and design innovations ensures...
Wait, that's a lithography thing again.
Yeah, that's just throwing in there, didn't I? Ensures an efficient scale of memory supply to meet the growing demand. Woo! I sweated through that one.
After all that, I need a textbook or something.
Yeah.
Now I have a better question. What do you guys think they're going to call this? Because they're not going to come out and say gamma, but they're going to come up with some fancy name.
They're going to call it the Matty Guardian machine.
I don't think it's going to have a name. I think it's just improvements in DDR-RAM.
Oh, no. Instead of calling it DRAM, they should call it GRAM.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
IG
Wait,
RAM.
someone's going to come up with that one. I know it. They probably hear it on a show and then they'll take the name, of course. And we get nothing.
So I think from what I've seen, it means that there's going to be more memory per wafer.
Yes,
it's going to be less power. I think it's 20% less power to run it, and almost equivalent of the same speed as well. So almost 20% increased speeds, which is great. I mean, it's just free performance, right?
Yeah.
Now, as long as the cost isn't too whacked out, and stuff, it should be.
I mean,
good.
RAM is like really. I was going to say it's really volatile. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
The price of RAM is also very volatile, and you know it goes up and down a lot. I don't think this will really change too much. This is just, I think the kind of the way that Micron are, making their RAM. It's just like a little breakthrough. It's going to mean that they're a bit better.
Yeah.
And Matt, you had a second news story about something it's kind of interesting.
Yes. So it is nearing time to say goodbye to a lot of people's good old friend, Skype. Skype is going. It is ending very soon, 5th of May. It's time to say goodbye. So Microsoft has now decided that they don't need Skype anymore. They got Teams. They're going to use that now instead. So anybody who used to use Skype, you got Teams for free. Teams free. Which will work the same way. You just log in with your credentials the same way, and it should import your contacts from there to there. So all your your scams and spams and Russian girls and all that stuff can follow you through with you, so you don't miss out on them messaging you now and then, and for Bitcoin and all that jargon. But hopefully, on an honest note, I do hope it actually battles that as well, because the amount that I get coming up on Skype now, it's crazy. I'm always
Skype's
talking to them.
Into the PC museum.
Yeah, Skype can go join Nintendo's games.
Yeah, great.
And all that, so there you go. Yeah, 5th of May is the last for its time there. I know recently I've been having issues with Skype where it's just not ringing, it's not sending notifications or something. Yeah, I think it's the only contact I have with my kiddo, so now I'm going to have to force their mum into using something else now.
Just have them install Zoom. You'll be fine.
Just take the kid. Is that it? Yeah.
Zoom is real easy.
Yeah. Zoom's pretty good. Yeah, pretty easy.
Besides, your kid might like the name better, Zoom.
Yeah, I think he's used to Zoom anyway with school back in the COVID times anyway. So, I don't know why it's ended up in Skype. There you go. Sense. But, so if you're a Skype person and want something exactly like Skype or Microsofty, Teams is that. If not, there's other platforms around that's probably easier to use, more user-friendly, with a little more few additions that you can use in there as well. So there you go.
I kind of like the Microsofty you said. It reminds me of an ice cream.
You've got a Microsofty.
Microsofty serve.
Yeah.
Right? You just see the machine, and not only does the ice cream come out, but a bunch of
Do you want syrup with that?
with it too. bunch of old computer chips and pieces just come out with it. Can you sprinkle some RAM on top of that?
Yeah.
Yum yums.
Some of that.
All right, one last story before we get into the quiz. It's still hardware tech stuff, but basically, Intel is they've been having so many problems, and now they got a new problem. They were building a huge over here in the States, an Ohio chip fabrication facility. When they first announced it years ago, their plan was for it to be open and running by 2025, meaning right now. And they said they're going to delay it again, and they said that these are two different chip fabrication facilities, and they said they're pushing their completion date out to 2030. Now, the only thing I'm wondering about that, when they pushed it to 2030, it sounds to me like it's going to be longer, because they said it's completed the basement level of the project, the basement level. They haven't gotten past the basement yet, dude. I mean, they still got some more floors to go and stuff. So I'm sitting there going like, I don't know, 2030 might be beyond that for all I know. So they're just not. I don't know how far behind they're gonna stay.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if this has anything to do with the the CHIPS Act, and they were set to receive, I don't know, $1.5 billion or something like that, and it got slashed, didn't it? Like, I think $500 million. They just don't have anymore. Yeah,
that was it.
I mean, if they were going to have a problem, look, let's put it this way: when they wanted to build a facility and they first broke ground, they weren't doing so bad; they were doing fine. And then between then and now, all of a sudden, they're not doing fine. So it puts pressure on everything. Problem is once you start construction, your cost overruns are going to be crazy. So by the time they really open in 2030, it may ultimately cost them more to build it than they originally thought.
Oh, way more. I mean, that's 5 years extra manufacturing time. That's insane.
Actually, I was reading the story a little bit. You had mentioned the CHIPS Act. So here's the thing right here. It says prior to that, the funding the company was set to receive through the CHIPS Act was reduced by $600 million. Woo! That's not good.
Big wad of money to not have anymore.
Yep. It says add in the layoffs and the continued dominance of chip makers like AMD, and Intel remains in the basement that they just built. So,
does anyone know anything about that? Because the American government were set to give them this money so that Intel could basically really start to compete with the likes of TSMC. But why would they reduce it so much?
You know what? I don't want to get political on this show because we just don't do that. But to be honest with you, every day I wake up is a surprise, so I have no idea anymore. I mean, I swear, it's just like this is done here, this is getting cut there, this is the blah blah blah, and I'm like,
there's a lot of things going on in your country at the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah, and around the world, but especially here. So I don't know what the whole story is about that. I think
Just get Trump to visit
as
secretary.
As Trump said. Trump said the other day, Greg.
No, we're not getting political.
As Trump said the other day, this will make for good TV.
Yes, we're not going to get any further than that.
That's it. I'm done.
In any case, I think Intel dug their own hole, but the timing is getting even worse for them because every time they turn around, something else is going on. So yeah. I mean, AMD,
and how much can happen in 5 years as well?
Oh God, yeah.
Technology is going to change. The way that they even make the chips will change.
Right. They'll be upgrading the building before it even is completed.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be like a partial building or shared site maybe with other
they'll have to rent
silicon
out
enthusiasts.
Space in their own building just so they can cover.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be them, put it that way.
No.
Anyway,
they can share with AMD.
AMD's got their own. They're doing fine with this. I mean, not that they want to see competition die or something, but to be honest, look, you got to strike while the iron's hot. So
absolutely, yeah.
If they can position themselves, and they are, they'll be in an even better position in 5 years. By the time that plant comes online, they'll have captured another whole big chunk of the market with their chips. So,
all
righty, we are going to move on to the gaming quiz.
Get your hand on the buzzer for the world-famous Extreme Gaming Quiz.
So I'm going to read out the questions, and you guys can guess it. Let's see if Matt can keep his streak going. He does pretty good on these things somehow.
Yeah, no.
I know he doesn't read things on Google. Everybody, no.
I might.
All right, you ready? Question number
Right.
1. What is
7.
Mojang
Sorry.
Studios'
50.
biggest game? What is Mojang
Minecraft.
Studios'
It
biggest?
is.
I didn't finish.
Sorry.
Oh, you said Minecraft.
I was getting excited. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And then Matt, what do you think?
Definitely Minecraft.
Well, guess what? Ding ding ding. You're right.
Minecraft and yeah.
I thought I was gonna throw you off by saying
that Mojang
Mojang
beat
and not
bricks
Microsoft.
itself.
you
Yeah.
But that didn't fool you. Okay, here's another one that you may or may not know because this question goes back quite a ways, but you still might know the answer to this.
Yeah.
What does the abbreviation in IBM stand for?
Industrial
abbreviation?
Business Machine.
International business machines.
International Business Machine.
Wait, you changed now. Wait. We have to give this one to Carl to Charles because he's right. It's international business machines.
I'm dyslexic. That's
And-
what I meant to say.
And of course, they were one of the ones that made the first PCs, et cetera, way back.
Yeah.
And sold it for cheap to some whatever it was, and they kicking themselves in the butt ever since.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Last question: the average age of a gamer. The average age of a gamer is mid-20s, mid-30s, or mid-40s.
40s.
Yeah.
Mm,
40s, you say?
yeah, probably
Yeah.
40s, but I'll go 30s just because I'll go different.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? Carl, ding, 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 mid-30s.
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. You guys
Let's
did
just
pretty
not
well
tell
overall.
Trev, okay? Let's just keep that quiet between Trev, okay?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know.
You guys did good, though. You did better than I thought. I thought I was throwing one or two good ones at you, but you still did good.
Yeah,
So I'm-
I can see
I'm
where I
very-
lost the points in my uni exam about IBM. So yeah.
Yeah, some good questions there. I like those ones.
Mm.
Well, a lot of people don't remember. I mean, some people don't remember at all that IBM created one of the first PC. In fact, I think they did create the first PC. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, Apple did their own thing, but the PC.
Yeah,
And,
they did.
way back when they created that, everybody used to call it an IBM. They would just
Yeah.
say, and then eventually the PC name kind of came out,
Yeah.
but they all would go like IBM computer, IBM computer. That was it. And then I always remember reading that story. I don't remember the whole story right now, that when they were doing it, they didn't think it was going to really take off and be that successful in the long run. So they ended up selling off the rights or whatever the hell it was. And they still made some money, obviously, but they just really blew it right there. 'Cause
Yeah.
shame.
that would have
They sold their the PC business to Lenovo, who
right.
whose whole the ThinkPad is essentially the old IBM ThinkPad.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but that's
IBM ran it better than Lenovo was.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But regardless of that, it's not like IBM is doing bad or anything. I mean, they've done quite good over the years. I mean, maybe not as like their heyday, but still. Okay, thanks for joining us on this episode of Extreme Gaming Podcast. We will be on again next week. And the gang, I'm sure, here will join and whatever else. And again, if you do want to ask any questions, you can email us at info@extremegamingpodcast.com or join the Discord at discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. So until we talk again next week, everybody say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cheerio.
Don't forget your big
Bye-bye.
hat next week.
Okay.
I'm a Keeney.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is